little baby, don't you fear? We're never alone when Allah's so near. Hush, little baby, breathing so calm. He'll protect us all and keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene. You are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby, pure and small.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ارزقنا علما وانفعنا بما علمتنا. O Allah, provide us with knowledge and benefit us from this knowledge. We are going to continue our discussion of the same episode, the previous episode, which was about, what was the topic?
Good balance between open questions and closed questions.
Closed question and open question. And I asked you to think of two examples, the grade of the students and the subject, and you give me two examples, one of high thinking question and low thinking, right? Not closed one. Both of them are in the category of open question. And until you do this, if we think together, we'll find that this topic relates very well with the previous topic, right? First of all, just we say questioning, it means that the class is interactive, right? It relates very well also with differentiation. Here, when you're making differentiation, you know the levels of the students. So you direct the easy questions to the weak students, and you direct the tough questions to the high achievers. In this way, all students are engaged, and the weak students don't feel that they are alienated, because even the students don't know the difference between the closed question and open question. Even some teachers didn't know that. They didn't notice that there's a difference between the type of question. So it's very good to address the needs of the students. And again, from time to time, you guess if this is a weak student, you give him question, open question, and see whether he's responding or not. Otherwise, you move directly. One way of doing questions, by the way, is don't come to a specific student and put him on the spot, right? No, you have to give some freedom. You ask a question without pointing to anyone. So students raise their hand and you select the student, right? So it's a big difference between when you come and you embarrass a student, stand in front of him, answer the question, and he feels very embarrassed because he couldn't answer the question. Rather than this, you raise a question, students raise their hands, and you select the students. See what I'm saying? So it's a big difference in order to encourage students to participate. Now I'm quite sure you got enough time to give me examples. Subject matter, grade, and two different questions. All of them are open questions. Did you get an example? Let's begin with one.
An example for open question.
Two open questions, one high, one low. We said the two open questions, one high, one low. I gave you examples of high level. What is the message that was given by King Faisal to Henry Kissinger, right? What is the message that was given to Mamdouh from this teacher of English, right? Okay. Remember, sometimes we raise a question and we know that the students cannot answer, but this would be an opportunity to explain to them what is meant by horizontal and what is meant by vertical. So one way of introducing a new concept is to ask a very tough question. People start thinking of it, right? And then they are ready to get the answer, right? Something good. Okay, good. If this is the highest level, so what is the lowest level of open question? What would it be? Yes. The same thing. We are talking about the same thing. If you can come up with a low level open question.
A low level Islamically would be, why do you think Muslims pray 5 times a day?
Why do you think Muslims pray 5 times a day? Yes, it's the why question. Usually it's an open question. And this is not as tough as this, right? Yeah, very good. Good, now we are coming. See the difference between this question and this question. Okay, another example. Yes, please.
From Surah An'am, Surah Al-An'am.
Surah Al-An'am.
Yes, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about his attributes. For example, who's the one who created the heavens and the earth? And then he gives a lot of his signs. So the signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives in the Surah Al-An'am can be posed to the students and be asked them that why is Allah mentioning all these signs? What does he intend over here?
Okay.
To the readers, because the Muslims read, the non-Muslims read, the people of knowledge read, and the masses also read.
Okay, this is good. This is high-level thinking or low-level thinking?
Low level,
Low
for
level.
masses.
So what is the high-level thinking?
The high level are examples of certain verses which has to be understood with the help of hadith or a scholar.
Give me an example.
For example, in Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks that indeed all the believers are brothers. So cause a reconciliation between the brothers. So the high question will be what extent this reconciliation is allowed. And we can narrate an example of two Muslim countries fighting.
What grade is that?
Students of 11th grade.
11th grade.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Or I don't know. Not necessarily that we know everything. Okay, but we are trying to bring some examples to show the difference. Okay, let's try to come up with other examples. We are experimenting, we are learning. Together we are learning, okay? We are learning to put some difference between the levels. I think we succeeded in the first example. Okay, yes?
Another question, a high-level question could be, grade could be 10th and
Grade 10?
Sira.
Sira, and subject is Sira, good.
What would make you call Battle of Uhud as a success?
As a success.
Yes.
What would make you interpret the Battle of Uhud as a success? Okay, we studied first, okay. Did the Muslims succeed or not? Let's say that they didn't succeed. Some people think that they succeed, the Muslims succeeded in this battle. What would make you think that? Okay, this is the higher or the lower?
The higher level.
Good, give me the example of lower.
What would make you call Battle of Badr as a successful event?
Okay, good, very good. Like, I think the example is very clear. So the low level of thinking, although it is open question, is what makes you that the Muslims lost the Battle of Uhud, right? And the other one, what makes you think that the Muslims succeeded in the Battle of Uhud? Very good example. See, with trying we learn. Should we call that this inactive section or failure section and this is success section? Or not yet? Not yet, okay. Huh?
This is for grade 3. Abdullah got stuck in an elevator from 7:15 p.m. to 7:55 p.m. 7:15 p.m. till 7:55 p.m.
Okay.
According to your opinion, what do you think being an ideal Muslim he would do during that span?
What would an ideal Muslim do, a good Muslim do during this time? Very smart question. Good. This would be low level or high level?
This is a higher level for grade 3.
For grade 3. Good. What would be the lowest level related to the same topic? That would be wonderful. You see what, if possible, that we are addressing this. If possible, not necessarily. But this is a good question, yes. Anybody can help. Anybody can help.
A lower level question on the same context would be...
The same context would be?
How will you spend your time if you're caught up in a lift between the time given?
Very good. Which is more, which is higher than the other? The first one or the second one? First one. With which question would you begin with? The second or the first? The second one. If you are asking the question, how would you spend your time between this and this? Right? And if you get the answer, right? What would a middle Muslim, a good Muslim, spend? How would a good Muslim spend this time? So it would be reversed. See? Because if you give him the second first, he will learn from it. Right? Because he wants to appear as a good Muslim. Right? So this is a tricky way of asking. This is very good. Now I think we're beginning to understand, alhamdulillah, this is a very good sign, and these are very good examples. We'll take a break and we'll come back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Hush, little baby freezing, so come.
Okay, good, very good. Like, I think the example is very clear. So the low level of thinking, although it is open question, is what makes you that the Muslims lost the Battle of Uhud, right? And the other one, what makes you think that the Muslims succeeded in the Battle of Uhud? Very good example. See, with trying we learn. Should we call that this inactive section or failure section and this is success section? Or not yet? Not yet, okay. Huh?
This is for grade 3. Abdullah got stuck in an elevator from 7:15 p.m. to 7:55 p.m. 7:15 p.m. till 7:55 p.m.
Okay.
According to your opinion, what do you think being an ideal Muslim he would do during that span?
What would an ideal Muslim do, a good Muslim do during this time? Very smart question. Good. This would be low level or high level?
This is a higher level for grade 3.
For grade 3. Good. What would be the lowest level related to the same topic? That would be wonderful. You see what, if possible, that we are addressing this. If possible, not necessarily. But this is a good question, yes. Anybody can help. Anybody can help.
A lower level question on the same context would be...
The same context would be...
How will you spend your time if you're caught up in a lift between the time given?
Very good. Which is more, which is higher than the other? The first one or the second one? First one. With which question would you begin with? The second or the first? The second one. If you are asking the question, how would you spend your time between this and this? Right? And if you get the answer, right, what would a middle Muslim, a good Muslim, spend? How would a good Muslim spend this time? So it would be reversed. See? Because if you give him the second first, he will learn from it, right? Because he wants to appear as a good Muslim, right? So this is a tricky way of asking. This is very good. Now I think we're beginning to understand, alhamdulillah, this is a very good sign, and these are very good examples. We have other examples. Some people, yes, think that when others do the job, that means they have done the job. No, that's not fard kifaya, this is fard ayn. It's fard kifaya and fard ayn, knowledge or concepts or skill. Fard kifaya, that means that communal. If some people do it, the rest don't need to do it. Fard ayn, that means it's an obligation on everyone. Okay? What we're doing now is fard ayn, fard kifaya. Is it a concept? Is it a skill? Is it knowledge? What is fard ayn? Fard ayn, that every Muslim should do that job. This is fard ayn. Fard kifaya, that means it's a communal, right? If a group of Muslims do it, there is no need for every Muslim to do it. Okay? Is what I explained now falls under knowledge or concepts or skills? Concept. Concept. This is a concept. I'm explaining the concept of fard ayn. I'm explaining the concept of fard kifaya. Right? So this is concept now. And again, this tells you that we need to think deeply in order to get the right thing. Okay. So this is not fard kifaya. It's fard ayn. Each one of you should bring an example. May I get an example? Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. This is about grade 6, an English lesson.
English lesson?
Yes.
Good.
And the question, open-ended, the lower level question would be, which is your favorite character in the story and why? And the higher order...
Just a second.
Yes.
What makes it thinking skill? Open question is what?
Why?
Is the why, right?
There'll be
it's
varied
not which.
answers.
Because which you can say any character. If you end with which, let's say, I like this character. But what makes it open question is why. Good example. Now you understand, right? Good.
And the higher open-ended question would be, if you would be in so-and-so character's place, for example, Peter, then how would you react in such a situation?
Very good. If you are Peter, if you become Peter, if you are whatever, Tracy or whoever, right, what would you do? If you are in his position, okay, of course, the difference is very clear.
This is, I think, for grade 4 or 5. For grade 4, let's take grade 4. And it's regarding Surah Asr.
Surah Al-Asr.
Yeah. The high-ended question would be, why do you think Allah is swearing first in this? Because generally you take a swear when it's not like, people who don't have dependable information, they swear to prove their point. That's why it's a high-ended question. Why do you think Allah is swearing in this? And the low-ended would be, who are the people who you think are really successful?
Who are the people?
Who you think, according to the surah, will be truly successful. So that's like directly from the surah.
Okay. Any comment? Any comment?
If it is according to the surah who will be successful, then most of the children would give the correct answer because it's clearly mentioned who will be successful in the surah.
This question is a closed question because it is mentioned directly. The first question is open question. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Can we together think of another open question that's lower than this? I think swearing can be low level because whenever somebody swears, that means this thing is important. I think. Can we get a higher level? Let's work together. Don't think that I have an answer. If you ask me the same question, I don't have the answer. Wallahi, I don't have the answer. We need to think together, yeah. We are training ourselves. Can we get a question that's higher, okay?
here we could say that what is the wisdom behind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swearing?
When can this swearing be stronger than this swearing? Can we make another swearing? Is there other verses in the Quran that has swearing that's stronger than this swearing?
Yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. What is that?
فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ.
فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ. Good. So sometimes when you ask a question, you really are not sure whether it's here or there. We cannot know it unless you come up with another question. And when we have the two questions, you know which one is higher than the other. Now you got it? Now we want to go to the last section of the, right. What would you really do after what you learned today, right? We learned it in this, that we need to make two different types of questions, closed and open. And this is, we need to make a balance, and the balance is not 50-50. And within this, which is open questions, there are levels. We need to learn how to, and we already made some examples, how to make one is higher than the other. So that, because this one is very close to the minds of the children who are low achievers. So this is the one that would help them move from here to here. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. Now, based on this, tell me what you are going to do. We have heard some example about English, some examples about Sirah, some examples. Yeah. What will you do next week? What will you do in school? You can say that I will suggest to the principal. I expect you to say this. I will suggest to the principal that I want to make a 15-minute course or half an hour course for all the teachers, explaining to them questioning strategy. This can be what you're going to do. Yes. We need to benefit the other teachers as well. It can be other things. What will you do? Tell me. This is easier than the example, because you can promise that you're going to do this and you're not going to fulfill that. I hope not. Okay? Do we have any? Yeah.
Inshallah, we can discuss this with the other colleagues at school, and we can have a discussion in the presence of the principal, wherein we can say that there's a certain format that our lesson plan follows. So we can incorporate section as in additional activities, a list of activities to be mentioned.
Additional activities to the teachers?
Yeah, for the teachers to be conducted during their lesson.
Okay.
We do incorporate them during the lesson, but then, as you said, there should be variety.
Okay.
So list down as many as we can and use them in our lessons.
Okay.
And another section wherein we can have a list of questions based on the topic to be taught.
Okay.
And have them segregated as open-ended questions and closed questions. And inshallah, see that the other teachers also are following the same. And this can also be assessed, as in to see whether the open-ended questions and closed questions are according to the grade level of the children.
Okay. Now I'll rephrase the question again. Before this step, before you're doing this step, what you're going to do before this? Do you think that this is the first thing that you do, or you need to do something before this?
Practice what you taught?
Yeah. Walk what you talk. Walk what you talk. Right? We're talking now. We need to walk on it. We need to apply it in our classroom. Then, yes, we are sure that we are applying it correctly. Then we can talk to the principal. This is very good. Questions that we are talking now, they are called metacognitive. Metacognitive. Metacognitive questions now. We are going away from the box, and we are thinking what we are going to do, something beyond what is in the box. Okay. Okay, good.
Regarding applying what we learned that you have explained to us about the methods of asking questions, putting forward the questions to the students, after, I think it's very important that after we change the format or apply these things, is to take a feedback from the students as to how they have felt that this paper was different from the ones that they have faced before.
That's exactly what we are doing now. I'm getting feedback from you. Ask you what's your opinion, what's your comment.
Yes.
So we need to do the same thing with the students. When you do something like, not just the students, right? With the parents. When you ask, you write these questions, you can classify them, write a note beside them, and ask the opinion of the parents. Have you realized that your student is improving? Does your son differentiate between quality number one, question number one, and question number 4? Does he see the difference? Right? Do you see what I'm saying? You can ask some of these questions to raise the level of the parents. We're going to talk about parents later on. Yes, okay, very good. What else?
Inshallah, this will be for 8th and above grade, 8th, 9th and 10th grade, inshallah, related to English public speaking. So I will train, inshallah, train them as well as simultaneously myself how to give an open and closed question, because it will help them in their debating skills and in matter of their subject.
Very
inshallah.
Good. I would also here focus on the open question more, because these open questions are the questions that will put your enemy in front of you in a difficult situation. It's not the closed questions, right? Okay, good. What else? I thought of also trying to, if you are from the same school, until we are sure, right, we can meet, for example, once a week and see the types of questions. Are they really low and high open questions, or they are not? Until we master that. It's not easy to master it. It's easier said than done. So until we perfect this, we need the opinion of others. So you would be lucky if you are here with one of the teachers with you. Any other comment before we leave?
I will inshallah make sure that before I teach any lesson, I have a list of questions with me, the open questions and the closed questions, so that while teaching too, I make sure that I'm touching those topics which deal with the open questions and the closed questions, which I'm going to ask in the test and examination.
Okay, very good. Now I will say the final comment here. Remember that in the lesson plan, if you have a place for this and this, it will help you to plan your lesson well. As you see that there is not a specific format for planning a lesson. That depends on who you are. And that's why you see a big difference between this lesson plan and that lesson plan, based on the amount of knowledge and learning that you have got. Jazakumullahu khairan. I hope you benefited from this episode. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Little baby, pure and small, he created you, he created us all. Hush, little baby, don't you fear, we're never alone when Allah's so near. Hush, little baby, breathing so calm, he'll protect us all and keep us from harm. Hush, little baby, still and serene, you are a Muslim, Islam's your deen. Hush, little baby, pure and small,